Hello, my Cancerians. Welcome to your weekly reading. And this week we're doing spiritual guidance spread. So it's a spread that I would actually use, as I've told everyone up to this point so far, when I was doing private readings and someone wanted a spiritual guidance reading. So you're going to get that. But it's not private. It is general for all of you out there, whoever's coming to the reading. So we are starting with the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle deck, and then I'm going to use the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Tarot deck at the bottom. So the first deck here is to kind of find out what the primary concern is with your spiritual journey. Your spiritual journey is your life. Oh my goodness, 3 cards. We have Crow. We have Crow, Cobra, and Zebra. It's like your intuition is trying to tell you something. I'm getting that with the Crow. Spirit is trying to guide you somewhere. I feel like you and someone else are trying to be guided. And you're both harnessing like this fiery energy. Something that you really have focus on. They're both focused here. See? And then the Crow is over here. And the Crow is looking towards both energies, and both energies are looking forward. Both energies are trying to move forward. And I feel like because the Crow is directed to them, like you and someone else are trying to move forward. One of you is much more intuitive than the other. Maybe not even much more, but a little more intuitive than the other. I also want to say that the other one, the one who's not as intuitive, is more observant. One of you goes off of your intuition, and the other one goes off of observation. But you both harness the same energy of fire. It's like you both use the same element, but you work with it differently. The stingray is at the bottom. The stingray it can be kind of about developing your backbone to move forward in something. Like going through some sort of path. Going on some sort of path here. And the intention, if the universe can have an intention for you for what's going on, probably the intention of your deeper self, because I really believe that your soul has come down here to experience a lot of the things that you're experiencing in life as part of lessons, as part of developing and growing. And this path that you're on is to strengthen your backbone, to strengthen your initiative. It's lighting up your chakra areas. It really feels like you're doing this with someone else. One of you is very intuitive. You're going to have to pick who you are in this. One of you is very intuitive and the other one is very observant. It's almost as if one of you watches with your eyes, with the eyes, and they catch so much. Like they catch so much in body language. They catch so much in the articulation of the voice, of changes in tone. Like they catch a lot of things that most people don't. And there's so many messages in that in a way people would say that's intuitive. So when I stopped myself at first, when I said, one of you is a lot more intuitive than the other. I think this person is, but on a really different level. But then the other person, the third eye is lit up here. They're very, very intuitive. Like in how and it's funny because that would be, in today's world, that is a little bit more like the general term for intuition, like using your third eye, seeing it play out in front of you without opening your eyes or understanding or just knowing, somehow just knowing. I think this other person who's coming up, so the Cobra energy to me, I'm really fascinated by these two characters. I'm sorry I haven't pulled out the other cards yet, but I thought, wow, the world is underneath looking at us here. And I could see some sort of cycle coming up. You've been in a cycle that's really been strengthening your fortitude, let's say. And this crow energy, like spirit is guiding you. Spirit is guiding both of you. And you take the messages differently. You take the messages differently. Okay, here, I just had this interesting, okay, this is the best way to describe it because you're both on the same path. You're both going in the same direction with the same sort of lessons, but you read the signs differently. So this is immediately when I said that what came up in my mind was a sign that has like writing on it, and then underneath that is Braille. So, you know, to a passerby who wouldn't, you know, be thinking to look for Braille, you wouldn't even see it. You know, if it's a black sign with white writing, and the Braille is black too, you're not gonna, if you see it in the right light, you can kind of see the dots there. But it's literally like one of you reads it, you know, with the written word, and then the other one just knows to feel. And that's, maybe that's more the third eye intuitive person, where the other one knows where to look for the signs. Yeah, they're really fascinating. It's like you're both going down the same path, but you have a different way of connecting, different way of being intuitive. I really like that. I've kind of felt that before. I've noticed that there's people that I've run into that seem to be really, really observant, and they catch stuff. And, you know, they wouldn't classify themselves as intuitive, but they are, because they're observing things that most people just don't pay attention to. And they collect that information and they do it in such a way that they're not even thinking about it. It's just second nature, you know. It's just like, you know, people might say to this person or you, whoever you are out of these two, well, how did you know that person was going to do that in the end? Or how did you know this was going to happen? Like, well, the signs were there, you know, if you were looking for it, you're gonna, like, that's fascinating. I'm kind of fascinated by it. I think because myself, I would be more like the zebra here. You know, more like the zebra. I don't know if you're relating to this too, but whatever you relate to, I find the cobra is fascinating. The cobra is fascinating me with what's coming in on the cobra. Yeah, like I would spend hours talking to this person, like, how are you doing that? That's fascinating. And then they would probably spend hours talking to like a zebra, like, well, how are you doing that? That's kind of cool. All right, so let's get into the rest of the cards. And Spirit is leading both of you. You're both it's like you're both watching the same movie, and you both know how to anticipate the end, but you're doing it through, there's so many cards. That might not follow. I don't know. How's that gonna work? Okay, so here, you're both, what was this? Spirit just totally distracted me, throwing cards out. It's like you're both watching the same movie, but you're observing different things in it, but yet you're still coming up with the same kind of conclusion. You have to see, this is really throwing me for a loop the way everything came out here. I needed 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that crazy? I needed 7 cards and I got 7. The Hermit is at the bottom now. Hermit's been going around today. Like the energy of that being like in a hiding, stay in my shell, safe in my shell. I just find it's interesting here that we have the Son of Wands. The motivation for your guidance here. And it's kind of funny because we have this cobra, right? The snake. The snake is out twice. Okay, give me a second here. I'm just feeling very strongly that I'm supposed to read this differently for you. I needed 7 cards because each card sits. I make these little things. I love doing these. I make these little things. You can make them for yourself. There you go. There. Steal that. You can do it. Screenshot it. I love doing these. So, like, and it keeps me on track. But I'm really, the way the cards came out, I'm really feeling like, you know, so, because a lot of times I read and I just pull the cards out and I tell you what I'm getting. But I wanted to do this spiritual guidance spread, which is a spread that I would use back when I was doing private readings for anyone who wanted a spiritual reading. But there's something different here. There's something different. what it is I need to look at everything and then I have to read it to you as a whole. That's what I'm getting, which I haven't been doing. I've been, okay, this is your guidance. Okay. All right, so it's like you've been on a path. You've been on a path and someone else is on a path as well. You may not even know that this person is on a path or is on the same path as you. Your paths, I want to say, are parallel, but there could be a whole big forest between the two of you. So you don't see each other. You don't realize that you're both on the same path here. The path has been taking some time to get to the end. The end of the path itself has been a long path. There's been challenges along the way. There's been fallen over trees. There's been logs. Well, the difference between, to me, like the difference between a fallen over tree is like all these branches and like it's a fresh fall, and then the log is something that's been there for a while. You just have to hop over it, but it's still something you have to keep an eye out for. There's, you know, holes in the path. It's been a while, and I'm getting that with the stingray. Like, there's been something, whatever you've been on has been building up your fortitude. It's been building up your fortitude. It's been making you strong enough for where you're going. Because where you're going, well, it's really good, but you've come out of some sort of darkness here with this 8 of Cups. Here, I'll show you everything that's come out here. I'm going to show you too. The Son of Wands and the Ace of Swords. And I'm going to tell you what you're anxious about. If you didn't know, I'm going to tell you what you're anxious about. I'm sorry. It's so forward, isn't it? I'm going to tell you what you're anxious about. I'm going to tell you what's wrong. Okay, the Temperance card and the 8 of Cups. Never does anybody talk to you like that. Certainly not me. Just like, I'll tell you what's wrong with my own life. Okay, the 10 of Pentacles and the Magician. And then the Death card. So it's because the 10 of Pentacles, you've manifested. Continue to manifest. You're manifesting. Don't stop now. That's what I'm getting. That's coming in really hard and hot. Don't stop now. You've manifested this. Don't stop now. It feels like it almost like, you feel like you're walking to your death here. But it's a rebirth. Wow. It feels like you're walking to the end of who you've been up to this point. I feel like when you got on this path, it seemed like the path was this long. And it was like, oh yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's go for that. And then you realize, no, when you got that far down the path, there was a great big tree falling across the path. Oh, and you couldn't even go over it, so you had to go around. You had to, there was a huge tree. It was 200 feet tall. Really big tree. 200 feet. Yeah, on my calendar back there, it's the sequoias, so it might have been a big sequoia fell down. And you walked around. And it took a while, and you got back on the path again. There's been so many obstacles on the path to the point where it's kind of, to you, made what seemed like at first just, you know, this is a new journey. But because the journey has been so long, it's made the destination seem so much more significant. That's what I'm getting here. I really like that. It's made the destination seems so much more significant that it's almost it's like sweating buckets here. The Temperance card is what's affecting you you're not aware of. So I'm getting that because this is about being patient. This is about being on the journey. This is about divine timing. This is about things playing out so they need to play out a certain way so that things will happen down the road a certain way. And it's like sweating, you know, like this, like anxious or nervous, or that's what's happening here, because it seemed like the path was this. It was like, oh, okay, that's great. But now you're realizing that there's so much that's been involved for you on this path this is really significant. So it's like, yeah, I'm really getting that here. You're anxious about this new beginning, this truth, this clarity. Let's look at this, because the advice here is, what's sitting in the advice area is the Eight of Cups, but all these cups are broken, and it leaps us into the Ten of Pentacles, the Magician, what you've been manifesting. And this death, the death is the death and the rebirth. That's what I'm feeling like. Because this path has been the way it is, you really realize that this is kind of like goodbye to who you've been. So it's going to be interesting to pull out clarifiers to see who you're going to be. What you're going to be, or where you're going, what's going to happen. If they tell us, you know. If it's this significant, if it's this significant, I want to say that they never tell you. Don't. I get into arguments all the time with my spirit. Actually, I don't so much anymore. I just say, yeah, I know, and you're not going to tell me. Okay, the Eight of Cups. Okay, I thought it was going to... This bothering me. All right. This Eight of Cups, we have the Six of Swords and the King of Swords. The best way to walk out of this Eight of Cup energy is to have faith in the process with the Six of Swords. I feel like have faith in the process. Have faith in the path that you've been on up to this point. And approach it even in a very intellectual way, in a very open-minded way. Don't get in all your emotions and feelings. Go with what you know. What kind of rhymes? Go with what you know. Go with what you know. Go with what you know. Because the Cobra and the Zebra here, you and someone else, you both know. But you know in different ways. Let's find out what this is all about. Let's find out what this is all about between the Cobra and the Zebra. The Cobra and the Zebra. Wow, it's a new beginning. So it's a new beginning. Some sort of new beginning here. Of course, we kind of know that with the Death and the Death card. Death and Rebirth. So let's go right into it. Come on, will they tell us what happens in the Rebirth? What happens in the Rebirth? They're going to tell us. Look at, they're going to tell us. So the Rebirth here is going from the Eight of Swords right into the Sun. That's a massive leap. What is that? Do you hear that? It's like metal against metal. I don't know. I have the blinds kind of closed because it was a little too bright. Let's just ignore that. It's a massive leap, like going from a place of not being able to move, not being able to see anything, to complete clarity, complete understanding. And this takes you, on a much deeper journey. You're going on a much higher level here than you have before. That's a big leap to go from the Eight of Swords to the Sun. Again, do you remember I said it? I said it feels like, doesn't it? Like this is very significant. The journey has taken longer than you thought it would, which is making this feel so much more significant. And to go from the Eight of Swords to the Sun is a very significant leap. Temperance, you're anxious here. You have cold sweats. The Temperance card. Oh, shoot. Yeah. So many. The Tower. See? You know, it's like you just know. Gosh. You know, I want to say that it's been, whatever you're heading towards, is pretty significant. I want to say so many points along this path. There was probably a doubt. You had some doubt at some points. And then at other timelines along the path. Just now. And now that now is here. It's almost like, holy shit, now it's here. Now there's the end of the path. Wow. And it's almost like you realize maybe that you've climbed up this tower. part of the path has been climbing up this tower, you couldn't really tell because there was a lot of foliage and branches and weeds and grass, and you were just following it. Stupid path goes on forever. It's taken forever. And then you're there and you're looking and you're standing there and you're going, holy shit. The universe is asking me to jump off of a tower and kill myself. No, don't. That, you know what I mean? Like rebirth. It's all figurative. It's all totally figurative. Please take it figuratively. Figuratively. So that's what it's like, that you've gone along this path and now realizing the significance. It's like, oh, this is it. This is a big jump. And it is a big jump because it's going. It shows you here that it's a big jump. It's going from the Eight of Swords to the Sun. You can't see shit in the Eight of Swords. You can't see anything. You can't see anything and you can't move. You feel trapped. You feel like you don't have any control over a situation. To go to being completely free of any bounds, completely free of any blindfold, completely in understanding and truth and clarity, and wish fulfillment too with the Sun, right? Because of the Magician here, we're getting this energy of you've manifested this and you were literally at the top of the tower. Are you really not going to go after this long journey? The Ace of Swords, the area that you were anxious about. Interesting. Yeah, anxious. Gosh, it got really dark. I know the lights are closed. So this Ace of Swords that you're anxious about here is the Nine of Swords. It's the Ten of Pentacles, the Judgment, and the Six of Wands. So you're anxious about a happy ending. It's like it's a new beginning that leads to a happy ending and success. There you go. It's a new beginning that leads to a happy ending and success. Stability. This is a long-term success. It's kind of interesting with the Judgment. The Judgment after the Ten of Pentacles. It's a rebirth in it's a rebirth. It's like this. The best way to describe it, it's getting really dark here. Let me open a blind. It's too dark. It's starting to rain, and I feel like maybe it's my eyes. I'm getting old. Okay. Is that better? A little bit better? It's as if you've been in the Ten of Pentacles before, and then you've come out of the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles, there's a difference here between the 9 and the 10, right? If you're just to familiarize you with the tarot, the Nine of Pentacles is having everything. You can have the happy home, the happy life, the good job, the good career, you're making money, like everything is really good and you're looking after yourself. You're very stable, grounded energy, very independent. It's very independent. So the Ten of Pentacles, in a way, takes a bit of that independence away because you're now sharing it with someone. So you're sharing all that success, all that stability, everything, but you share it with someone else. It's like you're having a rebirth in that. So this could be too, like if you've been in a connection and it's felt unstable, something's changing and it's becoming stable again. If you were in a connection like this and you've been on your own, it's as if you're moving into a new connection again. And that new connection could be similar to what you had before. But I hope you can hear that. Otherwise, it just looks like, it sounds like Edward Scissorhands is scraping his metal claws down the steel wall. Sorry. But there's success here. So perhaps there wasn't success in the past because we're being shown that this will be successful. Actually, you'll be kind of cheered on. You'll be cheered on. Oh, yeah, and the Ten of Pentacles is here. Oh, it's the garbage truck. Why is he so noisy today? That's odd. He must, maybe because he needs oil or grease on his hinges. It's very noisy. Because you have the Ten of Pentacles here, the best way to move away from your worries would be the Ten of Pentacles. This is being offered in your Ace of Swords. The Moon card and the Queen of Wands is coming out for your Ten of Pentacles. This is something that you've well, because I've said it, you've manifested. I kind of feel like I'm just getting the same cards again. You've manifested it, but this is something that has been unknown, right? It feels like that. You've been on this path and you didn't realize it at some point. It was just felt like you were climbing uphill, which is part of this temperance, like it's taking a long time, or it feels like, you know, the universe is slowing this down. And that is part of what temperance does, because temperance is trying to make sure everything is happening sort of in a divinely timed way. But what you didn't realize is the universe had you climbing up the tower. But you've manifested this. The best way to get to the manifestation is to take the leap. I should close out the reading soon before it's completely dark in here. The Hermit. And it's funny because look at the Hermit is sitting in the dark with one little candle, right? Oh, but look, I love that. The Devil's getting around too lately. The Devil's upside down under the Hermit. So, probably by being in Hermit mode, if this is where you've been, you're coming out of that to move to something quite significant. Because you've been all by yourself, perhaps, on this little path. And that is part of the Hermit mode. You could say you were doing Hermit. You were really looking within yourself. So while you were walking along the path, maybe it looked like you weren't really doing much, just walking along the path. But internally, there was a lot going on. And you were dealing with a lot. You were thinking about a lot. You were guiding yourself with your light. And it flipped the Devil upside down and freed you. The Crow. Let's just, I think the Crow wants the last word here. This is the sort of, I don't know, it's like spiritual guidance kind of leading you and the Cobra and the Zebra. Whichever you are, whoever you see yourself. And I'd be curious to see that in the comments. How you see, how you use your intuition. And I think it's always fascinating to see how other people use intuition. The Crow. The Crow, the Crow. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So the Crow is got, here we have the Five of Swords, the Eight of Cups, the Chariot, your energy Cancer, and the Ace of Cups. It's, yeah, isn't that the best way to come out of an Eight of Cups? Is to come into your card, into your energy, to really truly know who you are. I feel like I need to light a candle here. Let's let it go. Oh, the Lovers is at the bottom. The Lovers is at the bottom. Look, it's getting really, really dark. Let me light my candle. See how dark it just got? There we go. Some candles. I guess I could get up and turn on the light, but this is more interesting, isn't it? The candle. Ooh, look at the glow here. Enjoy the flame. There, look at Hermit. Come out of your Hermit mode with your candle. There you go. I'll put that over there. Try not to light anything on fire. I have a friend who twice I almost did light things on fire with that anyways, isn't it? She said to me, you should maybe get rid of that candle. And I'm thinking, no, I just need to be supervised. It's okay. All right, that's interesting, Cancer. I hope you found that reading informative, helped you make any decisions and choices. And I'm sorry for the truck. He was really noisy. I hope you didn't pick that up too much in the microphone. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.